Good morning everyone, and I am back this week and we are going to work on the second page to my main page that I created last week. One of the comments that I get all of the time is when I do a statement page like this, people ask, well, what are you going to do on the second page? So I have followed a lot of different content creators over the past 5 years since COVID, and one of them that I follow is it's Scrapbook in Quebec, maybe. I will look up the name. I'll post it below. But one of her big things with statement pages, she always has a pretty standard template that she uses for the second page, and it depends on how many pictures she has to scrapbook on the other side. So she will either do a big grid of 9 pictures, she might do a different grid of 3 pictures, she might do a grid of 4 pictures. It just depends on how many pictures that she has, but she will tie the colors over to the other side and make a grid. So that's what we're going to do today. So I went ahead and I printed the remaining pictures that I had, and I have 5 of them. So using her grid style that she uses, I could do something like this, and then I will peekaboo pocket the last picture. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with the standard 4x4 picture. Now, the next problem that I have is this embellishment here is in the lower right hand corner, and I'm always trying to make a triangle with my pictures. So typically I would have this be on the left hand side, but because of where the embellishment is, I'm going to slide it to the right hand side. That will allow me to put some sort of an embellishment up here and over here, or I might put one in the center and over here or here, but it allows me a little bit more. I'll probably do here, here, and then maybe one in the center. So it's a little bit of a triangle. So I'm going to move it to the left-hand side. Then the next thing that I want to do is I want to pull in these colors over to the left-hand side. So let me make sure I've got my tape runners are causing me a little shadow here. Let me fix that. Okay. So the next thing I'll do is I'll pull in some of those colors. So I have this blue, which is going to look great with the pictures. So that's first. I'm going to put my extra photo over here for now. So that'll tie nicely. And then I have a yellow piece, and I already cut this down to a 10 by 10 square. So I cut off 1 inch off of each side. But when I was testing, I had cut it ahead of time. So that'll go in the center like this. So you can see I'm bringing the colors over, but now what I need is I need some of this dark blue. So I pulled another piece of cardstock, and here's where I am just testing it. So I could go like this and then put my pictures on like that, which is okay, but I find that it's just a little bit too similar to this because this has the blue in the middle, and I want it to be a little bit different. So I'm thinking instead that I'll make a small frame around the outside and then pull these in to the center. And I like that. I think I want to put him down here and this up here. So I'm thinking that I'm going to start with this. So it complements the first page. It's got the same colors. We've pulled the same colors. It's the same type of pictures, but it's different. It still allows this to be the main page. And you see, if I put this on the right, which is what I would typically do, it will make, I don't know, then I might still be able to do the embellishments we'll have to play with that once I adhere everything down. So let me go ahead and adhere all of this down, and then I will be right back for the auditioning of our embellishments. Okay, so we are back, and here we are with my layout spread. And I went ahead and I brought in all of my leftover flowers because that's what I want to incorporate over in here for embellishments. And I also went through my embellishments for spring equinox. Just to remind you, they're all these. And I thought maybe the circle, but I don't know. I just feel like it's not quite right. So, and then I went through all of these embellishments and it's just not the right vibe. So the next thing I did was I went through my mat cards, and I did find one mat that had magic spring moments on it, and I liked that. So I cut that off because I thought maybe we could incorporate that on here. So my thought was I need to bring it up just a little bit, and I don't want it floating, so I can tuck it right about here. And I didn't want to cover my sunsets. I originally had thought up here, but that, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. It covers the sunset, and down here, I don't know, it's too low. Normally I would try and put something in the middle, but because this isn't over here, the middle's just not looking right to me. So I'm thinking that I'm going to put it right about here. And just barely, I don't want it to be exactly in the center. So I'm just barely going to cover it. And then I think just one small flower here on the side and some leaves. I'm looking through my embellishments here. I was looking for some green leaves. I think just slightly tucked like this. So it adds in the white, and I think I will go ahead and I'll do the blue like I did here. I'll just do the blue right around the rectangle. That kind of will tie you up here. So it's going like this. I don't want to go here. It's kind of a small triangle, but now I think I want to concentrate down here. So this is where I just start playing kind of with what I have left. Just to see what I have, if I need to punch some different things. And I can tell you right now that if I do this, it's going to be too heavy. So I need to incorporate some white down here. So maybe we start with the white. I'm just trying to incorporate some white along with my green. You can see that when I add that white in, it just lightens up that corner so that that corner doesn't feel too heavy. It's also tying in some of the embossing over here. So I've got white kind of in this cluster, I have white in this cluster, and now I'm adding some white down here in this cluster. I think it's a little hard. It shifts so much. It's much easier actually to adhere these with the adhesive first, but this just gives you kind of an idea of what I'm thinking. And then I can add my gems in the center of a couple of these. So I think like that. What else do you think I could add? I could possibly add, I don't know. I don't know that I really want to add much more. I wonder if I should mount my photos on white. Let's see what that looks like real quick. Just to get an idea. And of course, I don't, oh, you know what? I have these new handy dandy mat cards. Let's pull these out. These are these mat cards that are on sale now. I use them a lot for placement holders when I don't have my pictures. But for right now, I just want to use one as just a sample. This is why I use repositionable, everybody. This is it. That's what it needs. That's what it needs. Yep, I think that will be the final touch if we add that white on here. That lightens this page. This page right now, without that white matte, this is just on here, it just kind of falls flat and feels really heavy to me. So by adding this white matte, it just elevates it, adds light to the page, and now the page feels like it's more in balance with this page, which has a lot of white going on. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to mat all of my photos, and then I will add my little embellishment clusters with my gems, and I will come back and we will see how it ties in. Okay, so I'm back and I have everything adhered, and this page for me is finished. So I am really happy that we added those white mats behind all the photos. That just helped bring more white to this page, which made this page feel much lighter. Before it was feeling very heavy, it was feeling weighted down. By adding and incorporating more white in here, that just helped to lift and elevate the entire page. I also went ahead and I did put that blue border around my title, and that just ties it back to this. I added the white down here in this bottom right cluster. Again, that helps to elevate the page, and this will be a peekaboo, as I have this silly picture of me and Liv that I liked, and then a picture of Fred and Frank, so I wanted to make sure that that was all incorporated on this day. So I would call this completed. I am happy with this. Remember, the point of the second page is it's a complementary page. When we spend so much time doing a statement page, the second page should just complement it. It should tie colors in. We brought the colors from here over onto this page. We brought some of the same elements over onto this page, but it doesn't detract from my statement page. It just goes together with it. This is what I typically do whenever I have a statement page, and I start with the pictures and how many pictures that I have and whether I want to cut them down or not. In this case, I had the sunset behind all of my photos, so I didn't want to cut them down. That led to them naturally being 4x5. 4x5 pictures work really well in a 4 style grid. Now, that could be different. Let me show you. Let me move this out of the way for a second and just bring in a separate piece of paper. Let's say I only had 3 more photos. I could do a grid style like this, which I have also done. And in this case, I would have added some border elements here and probably done a whole strip of flowers running down the side here. But if they were vertical photos, I could have gone like this, right across. So you could do a 3 style grid that way if you only had 3 photos. If I had a lot more photos that I was willing to cut down, I could go this way with my grid. You guys get the idea. Sorry, everything's kind of sticking. And I have done this as well. And then I would have just kind of done a middle border element right here through the middle. So that's another possibility. This would be if I had a lot more photos to do and I was willing to cut them all down. And then the final grid, which I do a lot, especially with travel photos, because I tend to take a lot more travel photos, but you can do a 9 style grid. In this case, you can keep it almost identical to the 4 style grid by putting that box in the center. Sorry, they're all sticking, but you guys get the idea. So that is another common grid style that I do. In this case, I probably would not fill all 9 squares with photos. I would probably leave a couple squares open, one for journaling and maybe another one for a decorative element. So that is typically what I will do when I have a statement page that I've spent a lot of time on. My card flips tend to be statement pages, right? Because we're taking a card and we're flipping it into a 12 by 12 page. Not very often do I flip to 2 pages. So whenever I do a card style flip, I typically will have the flip and then I will have a grid on the complementary side. So that's where we are. That is what I am going to call finished. It's my how I do it from watching lots of content creators over the years and what seems to work best in my albums. So thank you for watching, and I hope that answers any questions that anybody had about complementary pages. And if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. All right, you guys, talk to you later. Bye.